Food reintroduction when you have gastritis is really important. It's a really slow process and it requires a lot of patience. Based on my own experience and the experience of people that I work with and talk with on a daily basis, this is kind of what it should look like. Ideally, once you first start noticing symptoms, you should go on a pretty restrictive elimination diet just to calm the inflammation as much as possible. But then after that elimination diet, you should slowly start adding in things that you were limiting during that elimination diet, of course. So I like to do it every week, 5 to 7 days, try one new food and see how it goes for that week. The food that you reintroduce depend on you, your symptoms, any allergies you have, of course. For me, that looked like reintroducing gluten because gluten was a huge food group that I really missed out on, and I knew that I didn't have any gluten sensitivities. So I brought back in sourdough bread for the first week, saw how that felt. I felt fine. So the next week I tried pasta. And I went on and on just like that. I certainly didn't start with things like tomatoes, garlic, onions, definitely not alcohol and caffeine in those early reintroduction phases. That came much, much later, about 6 months after the elimination diet ended. And I noticed with myself in particular that things like citrus and tomatoes didn't bother me as much as kind of heavy, greasy, fatty foods did. So even to this day, I don't eat very heavy, greasy foods, but I can eat a tomato-based sauce. I can have pizza with tomato sauce and cheese on it, no problem. When you have gastritis, you are super sensitive to all the different symptoms that come up, all the different sensations and feelings. And part of this reintroduction phase is accepting that sometimes your stomach feels a little weird, even when you have a perfectly healthy stomach. I got really caught up in tracking every little weirdness, every weird feeling, every symptom, and that made me super obsessive and it did not help heal me any faster. So I definitely think it's important to remember that yes, you should take your symptoms seriously and keep track of them when you do try new foods, but also don't overthink them and spiral about them because there is no perfectly healthy stomach. There is no 100% healed in this process. Our health fluctuates throughout our lives. We have good days, we have bad days. Even though I am still healing gastritis, I have a much more good days than I do bad days. So it's really not something that's so black and white. So when you're reintroducing foods, try to keep that in mind that this is a journey, it's not a linear journey, and fluctuations in the way you feel are perfectly normal. But yeah, I hope this is a helpful overview. I have a full guide linked in my bio that goes through the different phases of healings and what you can expect in general, depending on which point of the gastritis healing, the level of inflammation you're experiencing.